Hello everyone, I'm Raijin, and on this video we'll analyze the family trees of the Straw Hat crew. Before we start, on these family trees we'll also see a lot of characters who are not blood related with the Straw Hats, but there is a connection between them that I had to mention, and for this reason I'll refer to the family trees as trees. And let's start with Monkey D. Luffy's tree. All started with the D family a long time ago, somewhere in the Void Century. 800 years later, a lot of characters with the initial D in their name started to appear again, and the hero of the Marines, Monkey D. Garp, was one of them. Another man who also carries the D in his name is the Pirate King Goldie Roger, who was also Monkey D. Garp's rival before the golden age of piracy. Then Garp had a son with the name Monkey D. Dragon, the supreme commander of the Revolutionary Army, and Goldie Roger met Portugas D. Rose, a woman who also had the initial D in her name. Before his execution, he entrusted her and their child Portugas D. Ace to his rival and friend Garp, and he also gave his straw hat to his crewmate and Yonko Shanks. Now let's take a break and go to a noble family at the Goa Kingdom, where Outlook III and Didit had a son with the name Sabo and adopted a child with the name Steri, who now is the king of the Goa Kingdom. And let's continue with Luffy's mother. We don't know anything about her till now, but Oda stated that he's already drawn Luffy's parents, and they already appeared in the volume 45. The only woman I found on volume 45 with a chance to be Luffy's mother is this woman, but we can't be sure. So, Monkey D. Luffy is born, and while he was 7 years old, he met with Shanks and gave him his straw hat. Then Garp gave Luffy to his friend Dadan, just as he did with Ace, who was already friends with Sabo, and by exchanging 3 cups of sake, those 3 became brothers. Due to an incident, Sabo decided to start his own adventure, but he was shot by a celestial dragon. He lost his memory, but he was saved by Dragon and later joined the Revolutionary Army. Ace started his own adventure at the age of 18 years old and became the captain of the Spade Pirates, but later joined the Whitebeard Pirates and became the second commander of the Yonko Edward Newgate Whitebeard, who was also the rival of the Pirate King Goldie Roger. And last, it is mentioned by Baggy that Silver Rayleigh, who was also Luffy's mentor and vice captain of the Roger Pirates, somehow may also be his uncle. I don't know if it was just a joke or not, so I'll add it here. And that's Luffy's tree. Let's move to Zoro's tree. A long time ago in the land of Wano, the legendary samurai Shimotsuki Ryuma was born, and his descendants were the Shimotsuki clan. Some members of the Shimotsuki clan were Yasu, Kozaburo, and Ushimaru. Ushimaru had a friend fox with the name Onimaru that accompanied him. Kozaburo was a well-famed swordsmith who forged Zoro's sword Wado Ichimonji and Enma, which later gave to Kozuki Oden. And for Yasu, he was a daimyo and supporter of the Kozuki family. Now let's see a little story by Oda. 55 years ago, Kozaburo and a certain samurai left from Wano. They make a landfall in a certain place in the East Blue and save the locals from mountain bounties. While teaching the way of sword to the locals, Kozaburo falls in love and decides to settle there, founding the Shimotsuki village, which is Zoro's village, and Oda hinted us that Zoro is related with those two. So, Shimotsuki, Kozaburo, and a woman from East Blue have a child with the name Koshiro, who is the father of Quina. Zoro is Quina's friend and rival who promised to her that he will be the strongest swordman in the world after her death, and he asks from his teacher Koshiro Quina's sword Wado Ichimonji to fulfill his promise. Also, Oda said that as a child Zoro met Kozaburo, and he was the one who taught him the word snatch. A lot of years later, on Thriller Bark, Zoro meets Ryuma, who gave him his sword Tsusui, which later is stolen by Onimaru, who returned it to Ryuma's grave. For Kozuki Oden, while he was on Whitebeard's ship, he met with Toki, a woman who came from the Void Century with her devil fruit abilities. Together they have 2 children, Hiyori, who gave her father's sword Enma to Zoro, and Momonosuke, who learned from Zoro the snatch. And to complete the tree, Yasui also had a daughter with the name Toko, and that's Roronoa Zoro's tree. And now let's see Nami's tree. At Kokoyashi village in East Blue, a young woman with the name Belmer joined the Marines. Belmer resigned from the Marines after she adopted two children, Nojiko and Nami. Nojiko and Nami are not blood related as Belmer found them after a battle with pirates at Oikot Kingdom in East Blue. Some years later, the Fishman pirate Arlong arrived with his crew at the Kokoyashi village from the Fishman Island. Arlong was also a member of the Sun Pirates, but we are gonna talk about it later on Jinbei's tree. Arlong asked from every villager a fee to keep them alive, but Belmer didn't have the money to pay for all three of them. Arlong shot her in front of everyone and took Nami to his crew due to her navigation skills, making an arrangement with her that he will leave from this village if Nami brings to him 100 million berry. And that's Nami's tree. The next man who joined the group is Usopp. Usopp's birthplace is Syrup Village, which is located on the Gecko Islands in East Blue. His father's name is Yasop and his mother's name is Banchina. His father joined the red-haired pirates when Shanks came to Syrup Village looking for him, and his mother died later due to a disease while Usopp was still a kid. Then, some years later, Usopp formed his own pirate crew of 4 people in Syrup Village. Usopp, Ninjin, Piman, and Tamanegi. Also, Usopp often sneaked into his friend's Kaya estate just to tell her about his adventures and make her feel a little better, cause she suffered from sickness and depression. And last, Kaya's loyal servant Mary was the one who designed the Going Merry and gave it to Straw Hats after they saved the village from Captain Kuro. And that's it with Usopp's tree. Next is Vinsmoke Sanji. Far away in North Blue there is the Germa Kingdom, also known as the Kingdom of Science, ruled by the Vinsmoke family for over 300 years. Germa 66 is the military branch of the Germa Kingdom, but is also connected with the underworld as first-class mercenaries, commanded by the Vinsmoke family. The head of the Vinsmoke family is Vinsmoke Judge, who was also a research partner of the famous Dr. Vegapunk in an attempt to develop high-tech weapons. Judge's wife is Vinsmoke Sora, and they have 5 children, Ichizi, Niji, Sanji, Yonji, and Reizu. Sanji left from the Germa Kingdom while Germa 66 was attacking an island in the East Blue Sea, and was raised by the former pirate Zeph. Together they started the floating restaurant Bara Tea, where Sanji was the sous chef and Zeph was the chef. Also, Sanji is almost married with Charlotte Pudding, one of the 39 daughters of Charlotte Linlin, aka Big Mom, who wanted this marriage in order to acquire Germa's cloning technology. And that's Sanji's tree. The first one who joined the crew in the Grand Line was Tony Chopper. The Drum Island is the winter island of the Drum Kingdom, where a lot of animal species live along with humans. Chopper's parents are normal reindeers that kicked Chopper out of the herd due to his blue nose and because he ate the Hito no Mi. Also, after trying to communicate with humans, some villagers shot him cause they mistook him for a Yeti. Then Dr. Hiruduk, who was a quack doctor, found him, named him and raised him as his assistant and friend. After his death, Dr. Kureha, who was an extremely skilled doctor, took Chopper as her assistant. Dr. Kureha, who is currently 141 years old, was also Dr. Hiruluk's close friend and considers Chopper her son. And this is Tony Chopper's tree. The next one who joined the crew is Nico Robin. Ohara was an island in West Blue notable for the Tree of Knowledge, a 5,000-year-old gigantic library tree. A lot of archaeologists lived there, just like Nico Orivia, who studied the poneglyphs. She also had an older brother with the name Oran, and was Robin's mother. Her husband died when Robin was too young to remember him, or even before she was born, and in order to research the poneglyphs along with 33 archaeologists left Robin to her brother Oran, who was the only one in the family who loved and cared for Robin. His wife's name was Roji, and his daughter's name was Mizuira. Then Orivia was captured by the Marine Admiral Jaguar D. Soul, who killed all of her colleagues but later helped her to escape. Soul was a giant born in South Blue and a descendant of the D family. Robin as a child learned about the poneglyphs from Professor Clover and visited the library to read and borrow books about them. One day Robin met the shipwrecked Jaguar D. Soul and became friends with him just before the Ohara incident, where all the villagers were killed by the Marines for their crimes of deciphering the poneglyphs. Soul also got killed that day by his friend and Marine Admiral Aokiji, but managed to convince him to not kill Robin, making her the only survivor from Ohara. And last, before joining the Straw Hats, he was a member of the Baroque Works and Crocodile's partner with the codename Miss Soul Sunday. and that's Robin's tree. Now let's see Frankie's tree. Frankie's parents were also pirates in South Blue, and threw him into the sea when he was young. Then Frankie, whose real name is Cutty Flam, was rescued by Tom. Tom was a fishman who left from the Fishman Island with his secretary Kokoro, and also had a brother Dan who stayed there. They end up in Water 7 where they met Iceberg and the frog Yokozuna, and together created the ship company Tom's Workers. Tom also was the one who built Oro Jackson, the ship of the pirate king Goldie Roger, and also through the shipwrights of Water 7 got the blueprints of the ancient weapon Pluton. Then Tom made a deal with the Marines because he built Roger's ship. The deal was to build a sea train in order to let him free. Tom finished the sea train, but the Marines used Frankie's warp ships to sentence him to death and get Pluton's blueprint. Tom gave the blueprints to Frankie, who studied them and later burned them. After Tom's death, Frankie created the Frankie family, a group of ship dismantlers and bounty hunters. Iceberg became the president of Water 7 and created the Galei La Company, a company of shipwrights where he is also the president. After Frankie joined the Straw Hats, the Frankie family united with Galei La Company as Zambai's Company Union. And last, Kokoro also had a daughter whose name is Chimney. And that's it with Frankie's tree. And now let's move to Brook's tree. In West Blue 90 years ago, Brook was born and became the leader of a battle convoy in a certain kingdom. Then 52 years ago, he joined the Rumbar Pirates as one of the many musicians on the crew. One day in West Blue they met a little lost whale. Brook named it Laboon and followed them till the entrance of the Grand Line. Because Grand Line was dangerous for a baby whale, they left it at the Twin Caves lighthouse with Old Man Crocus, who was also the doctor of the Roger Pirates. Then Rumbar Pirates were killed by unknown pirates in the Florian Triangle, and Brook brought back to life with the power of Yomi Yomi no Mi. Later, Gecko Moria stole Brook's shadows and placed it in Shimotsuki Ryuma, a legendary samurai from Wano Kingdom. Moria stored his body and hid in the Florian Triangle to steal more shadows for his zombies. And that's Brook's tree. And the last man who recently joined the crew is Jinbei, a fishman from the Fishman Island. On Fishman Island there was a man who fought against the discrimination toward fishmen, though he believed that fishmen and humans should remain separate, and this fishman was Fisher Tiger, who also protected the Fishman district. One day he got captured and became a slave of the celestial dragons at the holy land of Marijoa for many years. Later he managed to escape but came back climbing the red line with his bare hands in order to free the slaves from Marijoa. With the Fishman slaves he freed, he created the Sun Pirates and burned their slave marks with the sun of their flag. Even though he hated humans, he also freed the pirate Empress Boa Hancock with her sisters and Koala, who sailed with them for a short period of time in order to return to her homeland and later become a member of the Revolutionary Army. Some members of the Sun Pirates were Jinbei, Aladdin, Arlong, Hachan, Kurobi, and Chu. After the death of Fisher Tiger, Jinbei became the second captain of the Sun Pirates and joined the Shichibukai in order to protect the Fishman Island. Arlong left the Fishman Island with Hachan, Kurobi, and Chu and sailed for the East Blue where they built the Arlong Park at Kokoyashi village. Arlong also has a sister, Madame Charlie, who can predict the future and also predicted when Poseidon will be born and the destruction of the Fishman Island. Later, Jinbei quit the Shichibukai because he didn't want to take part in the Battle of the Marineford, and after Whitebeard's death, in order to protect the Fishman Island, he joined the Big Mom Pirates, along with Aladdin, who married Big Mom's daughter Charlotte Perlin. Fishman Island was Whitebeard's territory, but after his death it became Big Mom's territory. And one last interesting information is 40 years ago Big Mom along with Whitebeard and Kaido were all members of the Rocks Pirates. And this is Jinbei's tree. And that's it for today guys, hope you liked the video, and if you do, subscribe to my channel for more. Comment down below the next tree you want to see. Until next time.